channel. If you are new here, my name is Saskia, and this channel is called Sincerely Saskia, and it's going to be about my life and journey throughout PA school, as well as other bits and pieces of my life outside of PA school, such as travel, fashion, beauty, makeup, and anything else that I would like to share. So as you guys can tell from the title of today's video, it's going to be about the cost of applying to PA school. We all know PA school costs money, and applying to PA school is not free, and it does cost money as well. So this video is going to be going through and breaking down the various aspects you might run across when it comes to applying and paying. Before we get started with today's video, I really want to ask that you guys give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below other videos you guys would like to see on the channel. I also want to give a quick shout out to my accountability partners, Ferlynn and Nina. They have been helping me stay accountable by pushing me to continue posting consistently on YouTube. So shout out to Ferlynn and Nina for helping me stay accountable on YouTube. They have been helping me a lot with staying consistent and helping me drop videos every week, so shout out to them. They both have channels here on YouTube that I recommend you guys subscribe to if you guys are interested in their content, because they have been helping me make these videos for you guys as well. So definitely check out their channels, and I'll be linking them down below. Now, without further ado, let's get on to the main topic of today's video, which is applying to PA school. So we all know PA school is very expensive, and applying to PA school can be very expensive as well. And I wanted to make this video to kind of break down the different things you may come across that you may have to pay for in regards to applying to PA school. So the first thing you have to pay for when it comes to applying to PA school is the CASPA application system. If you don't know what CASPA is, CASPA stands for the Centralized Application Service for Physician Assistants, right? So basically what CASPA does is they are kind of similar to the Common App or the Coalition App that you use to apply to with college. All of the PA schools, or most I should say, most of the PA schools are on CASPA, and it helps you because it kind of lets you do one application for hundreds of schools. Instead of you doing an application per every school you want to apply to, you can just do one CASPA application, and that gets sent out to several schools that you are applying to for PA school. Now with CASPA, it does cost money to apply, and the cost kind of varies. So the first school is $184. Yes, that is right. Applying to one school is $184. The first school does cost $184, and every school after that is $61. So applying to one school already is gonna run you almost $200 off rip. Now, every other school on top of the first school will be $61 on top of that. So that can be very, very pricey. You're looking at almost $250 for applying to two schools. If not $250, I'm not good at math, but like, y'all see what I'm talking about. It costs money. Now, if you guys see me looking at my iPad, that's just because all my notes are on here, so I don't get off track with the video. So there is a fee waiver that you can get when you apply to CASPA. It does matter though, your income level, because they will require your tax information or your FAFSA. When I applied, I used my tax information because I did taxes for the previous year, and that qualified me to get the fee waiver. So you may want to check CASPA's website out if you are interested in getting a fee waiver. The fee waiver does cover the first two schools that you apply to, so that takes some, of the burden off. If you aren't applying to too many schools, you do save some money. If you are applying to a lot of schools, it still saves you some money, just not a lot, because you're still going to spend a lot of money applying to the rest of the schools. But it does get you 2 free schools, and you have to submit the application for both schools at the same time. If you only submit one and not the other school, then you cannot use the rest of the fee waiver to apply to the other school. It has to be both at the same time. CASPA does go more in depth with this. Another thing I want to say about the CASPA fee waiver is you need to basically be ready to submit your application once you receive it, because it only lasts 2 weeks. I believe 10 business days is what they tell you, which is basically 2 weeks. But basically, once you apply for the CASPA fee waiver, it takes them some time to get back to you and actually give it to you, right? They have to process your application and make sure all your documents are in order and that you qualify for the fee waiver. Once they've determined that you qualify for the fee waiver, and I believe the maximum time they take is 2 weeks for that, Then they'll give you the fee waiver, and then you have 2 weeks to actually use the fee waiver. If you wait past those 2 weeks because you're not ready to submit your application yet, the fee waiver becomes invalid and you no longer can use it. So it's very important that when you do apply for the fee waiver, you are about done or just about done finishing up at least 2 schools so that you can submit those 2 schools for free. If you're not done with your entire application for other schools, that's fine, but at least have 2 schools that you're just done with on CASPA, because if you don't have everything ready, whether it's your personal statement, whether it's your letters of recommendation, whether it's supplementals, which we'll get into later because that costs money too, then you won't be able to finish your application for that particular school and you won't be able to use the fee waiver. So just keep that in mind when you do ask for that fee waiver. You are ready to submit once you get it, because it only lasts about 10 business days. So keep that in mind. As I was editing, I forgot to mention a few things. Number one, the fee waiver application is separate from your generalized CASPA application, right? That's something separate. You have to have certain documents in order to apply for the fee waiver. Like I mentioned, the tax form and the FAFSA. Now, I forgot to mention as well that the fee waivers are first come, first serve. So you kind of want to apply for that in the beginning of the cycle. And that's why I recommend having all of your ducks in a row in the beginning, because without having your application completed, you can't submit and use the fee waiver. You can't apply to the schools without the fee waiver because it's not going to be free, but you need to have the applications done for those first 2 schools at least in order to use the fee waiver. So don't wait until the last minute, like October, November, December, to be applying to PA school and trying to get a fee waiver, because they may be gone by then. They have a set amount, and after that amount runs out, that's it. So keep that in mind. So again, most schools do require the CASPA for you to fill that out in order to apply. There are some schools that I know don't use CASPA, but there aren't many of them, and they may have their own application fees, which you need to check out by yourself. For example, I know Miami-Dade College doesn't use the CASPA, but they have their own way of doing it. I haven't applied to that school, or I didn't apply to that school, so I don't really know how they do it and if it costs money, but most schools do require CASPA. Now, the next thing that you will probably have to do is the GRE. So the GRE, I believe stands for Graduate Record Exam. I'm not really sure. I'll leave the name on the screen if I'm wrong. But that's basically a test you have to take for a lot of master's level programs, including PA school. Now, not every PA school requires the GRE, but many of them do. Both of the schools that I got accepted in did not require it, but the other schools that I applied to did require it. So it really just depends on the school. That's why I've always been stressing in every video, make sure you take some time and look at the schools that you are applying to and know what they require from you, because the GRE is very popular amongst PA schools, and the GRE does cost money. How much does the GRE cost? It costs $220. There is a fee waiver for that too. You do have to apply for that too and meet the income qualifications to get that, but you can get the GRE at a discount. I don't believe it's free. I believe you get a discounted rate, whereas with CASPA, the first 2 schools are free. For the GRE, it does allow you to send, I believe, up to 4 schools for free at the time of taking the test. So if I remember correctly, once you finish taking the GRE and you get your score, like you get the score like the same minute you finish like submitting, they calculate it ASAP, except the writing score, of course. What happens is they allow you to send up to 4 schools for free. I believe you do need to know the school code for the facility to like send the test or whatever, but I believe 4 schools are included in the GRE that you can send up to for free. Every school after that costs $30. So if you are applying to, let's say, 10 PA schools and 7 of those schools require the GRE, 4 of those schools will be for free, but sending your scores to the other 3 schools will cost money. And I believe, again, it's $30 per school, which would run you about $90 on top of course, paying the original GRE fee, especially if you didn't get a fee waiver. So keep that in mind. I recommend trying to apply to as minimal GRE required schools as possible, because the GRE costs money, of course, to take. Costs money to send the scores past 4 schools. And don't think because you self-reported it on CASPA like you're scot-free. No, The self-report is low-key meaningless. They want the scores directly from the GRE to be sent to them, and you have to pay for that after 4 schools. So keep that in mind. Don't think, oh, I'm gonna just self-report on CASPA and I'll be fine. No, girl. That ain't the case. You still have to send it directly from the GRE people to your school, point blank, and a period. Because again, think about it. The self-report is a self-report. You could low-key lie. How will they be able to check? That's why they require you to send it from the GRE when you do take the GRE test. So another thing, if let's say you're applying to 7 schools again and you do the first 4 schools free at the testing center, I don't believe you could do the rest of the 3 schools at the testing center. I believe you have to go home, log into the system, like the GRE portal website thing, and then pay those $30 per school at home. I don't believe you can do that at the testing center, but I do know at the testing center you can send the 4 schools for free. I recommend memorizing the test codes. I don't remember if you can look up the name of the school, but I know some schools, the PA school has a separate GRE code than the actual school itself. So keep that in mind as well. So yeah, $220 for the GRE, and then of course, to send additional scores beyond the first 4 schools is $30. And then of course, that doesn't include test prep materials. Whether you're getting like a textbook or Magoosh, I use Magoosh, whatever it is, test prep costs money. Now it's up to you how much you want to spend on test prep, but test prep does cost money for the GRE. You know, you could try to use websites online for free, but I know a lot of people just end up paying for a textbook or an online website that they can use to like take practice exams, do practice questions, you know, and read passages and get tips and tricks on how to best prepare for the GRE. So keep that in mind as well, test prep. The next thing you may have to worry about is the PA CAT. The PA CAT is basically the MCAT, but for PA school. So if you don't know, the GRE is more math and reading based, whereas the PA CAT is more science based. And of course, you're going to PA school, you're gonna be learning about science, right? Medicine is science based. So the GRE doesn't really have much to do with PA school, which is why a lot of PA schools are kind of getting away from the GRE because it doesn't really test on your ability to do well in PA school. But the PA CAT supposedly does because it's more science-based and it's kind of related to what you'll be learning in school. I believe the topics are like anatomy and biology, maybe some chemistry and stuff like that. I'm not sure. I didn't take the PA CAT because I didn't have time for that, because who has time for that? Like,
ain't nobody got time for that.
Not me. Like, especially because I believe at the time I applied, which was last year, only 4 schools required the PA CAT. So I didn't feel like spending $228 and the GRE, right? So that's over $400 on 2 different tests and test prep just to apply to PA school. Like, it wasn't really worth it, especially when only 4 schools required the PA CAT. Some schools do strongly recommend it. It's up to you guys if you guys want to take it or not. Again, research the schools that you are applying to and figure out if they require it or recommend it, and then, you know, make your decision based off of that. But the PA CAT does cost $228, and of course, test prep for that as well costs money. I'm not sure whether or not they have their own test prep materials. I know the GRE does, but I don't know if the PA CAT does, but you guys can check on their website to see if they do. I think they do, and I think it costs money, but I'm not 100% sure. Already, if you are applying to schools that require both the PA CAT and the GRE, you are spending over $400 just to take 2 tests, which to me is ridiculous. I feel like the system is very money hungry, in my opinion. It's way too expensive to be applying to all these schools with all of these different tests. And we're not done. There's still more tests to come. So buckle up. Now, the next test that some schools do require is the CASPER test. So the CASPER is different from CASPA. CASPA, C-A-S-P-A, is the Centralized Application Service for Physician Assistants, right? So that's for applying to PA school. The CASPER, like Casper the Ghost, is basically an emotional intelligence test, I guess is the best way I can describe it, that certain PA schools require. It's basically a test to test like how you would react in certain situations. Like a situational judgment test. Like what would you do if your roommate broke your other roommate's phone and didn't tell them, or something like that? Like, would you tell the roommate or would you not? Like, it's really what would you do in certain situations? If you see something happening, would you speak up, or would you not say anything? Stuff like that. Like, that's kind of what CASPER is. And that costs money. Now, I don't remember how much I paid for it. I do know that the prices vary if you're going to medical school or PA school, I believe. I do think, though, if you have a CASPA fee waiver, you can somehow use that to get the CASPA for free or get a discount or something like that. I don't remember, guys. All of this was a year ago when I applied, so I don't know for sure. But definitely check out their website for more information. I do believe you can, get it for free or a discount if you have the CASPA fee waiver. I believe that counts. Certain schools, again, do require this test, and you have to send them your scores. I believe sending the scores off to the school is free, but taking the test isn't, but I'm not, again, 100% sure on that. But some schools do require the CASPA, so keep that in mind when you are totaling how much you have to save up for when it comes to applying to PA school. You can go on CASPA's website and get more information because there are certain test dates for CASPA. You can't really just go in and take the test whenever. It's a weird setup. Depending on the school you are applying to, and the program, PA programs, there are certain available test dates and stuff like that. Another thing that you have to pay for, which is I think this is what I hate the most, is the supplementals. So what are supplementals? Supplementals are basically extra things the specific PA program wants to know about you. Now, sometimes it's really redundant information that you've already done through CASPA, like your name, your birthday, your address, and other personal information about you. And other times it's essays. And now supplementals, the fee could range from $35 all the way up to $95 per school. So it can get very expensive. I had one school that I applied to. Their supplemental was $95, right? And the supplemental was basically a repeat. I swear, a repeat of what I put on CASPA when it came to my personal information. They were asking me for my name, my date of birth, my name, my birthday, my address, and other information that was literally on CASPA. But they want you to pay almost $100 to give them the same information you've already written through CASPA and they'll be getting from CASPA. And that's just the nature of the beast. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. It sucks. Other schools will require you to have essays. So there'll be supplemental essays. So beyond your personal statement, they may ask you, why do you want to attend this school? Or talk to us about a challenge that you had in the past and how you overcame that challenge. Any random essay question they'll ask you, and that costs money as well. It is kind of annoying and redundant, and it can be very time consuming because sometimes some of those are not even on CASPA. You'll finish a school's CASPA application and send it off, and then forget that the school has more things on their own personal website that you have to submit. Be very careful, guys. That's why I stress so much that you really need to do your research and really do a deep dive into the school that you are applying to, because sometimes they have information that you have to know that isn't on CASPA. They'll tell you how much the supplemental costs as well on the school's personal website, and the link to the essays, the additional essays that you may have to fill out, may be on their website as well. So keep that in mind when you are applying to PA school. I recommend knowing the website inside out, honestly, because there's just a lot of information and you don't want to forget one little thing that can cause your application to be auto-rejected. So supplementals do cost money. Again, it ranges from $35 to $95 is the max I've seen. And it varies depending on the school. Sometimes it's just regular information about who you are, or a little background check or something of that nature. Other times it's you writing additional essays, sometimes 2 to 3 essays for a certain school. It's really up to you if you want to go through that, but that does cost some money. Last but not least, our interview cost. A PA school, of course, includes an interview component. I will be making a video about how to best prepare for interviews later, so keep an eye out for that. So when it comes to applying to PA school, after you sent your application in and they reviewed your application, they may extend you an interview offer if they like you enough, right? Now, depending on the school, some interviews are in person and some are virtual. I did both an in-person and a virtual interview for 2 schools. So it just depends on the school. But you want to think about having a nice suit or business attire for the interview, especially if your interview is in person. that is also another hidden cost, is like making sure you're, dressed well for the interview, having a nice suit, nice shoes, being well groomed. That may cost money, so keep that in mind. I had to go buy a new suit at H&M because all my suits were really old and didn't fit me anymore. So that's something that you have to factor in when it comes to cost. And of course, if your interview is in person, you also have to factor in getting to the interview. The school that I am going to is not in my state, so I had to fly in, get a hotel, and of course, transportation to the school, Uber, train, whatever, getting to the school, rental car, it doesn't matter, factor that in. I know one girl at my interview, she flew in that day, did the interview, and then left the same day. So definitely take that into consideration when you are applying to PA school, that you may have to do interviews that are in person, and you may have to fly in, get a hotel, rental car, or use public transportation. All of that does cost money, so keep that in mind when you do apply to PA school. Factor in those additional costs. It always is cheaper for virtual interviews because you don't have to leave. You can still stay in the comfort of your own home, but some programs do require in-person interviews. And if you have multiple in-person interviews, that does cost money. So keep that in mind as well. So again, I want to give a big shout out to my friends Ferlynn and Nina for holding me accountable with YouTube. I will leave their channels down below if you guys are interested in following fellow Black women, okay? And I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please give it a like, a comment, and of course subscribe. I really want to keep pushing out videos for you guys, and seeing you guys, like and watch the videos really gives me the motivation to continue and share my journey. I really want to be a resource to you guys. So of course, let me know what you guys are wanting to know about. Again, I do have planned a video about interviews because that can be really big. That'll low-key make or break you getting into PA school. So stay on the lookout for that. If there are any costs that I forgot to mention, please let me know down below. I can't really think of anything else, but there probably could be other things. Remember, not every school requires the GRE or the PA CAT or even has supplementals. Those are optional, but CASPA does require you to pay for using their service. So again, check the schools, make sure you know what you're talking about, make sure you know how much money you have to save. It can be costly. The more schools you apply to, of course, the more money, but that also broadens out your reach and can increase the chances of you getting accepted into a different program. So again, that is all for today's video, and I want to thank you guys again for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.